What's going on, y'all? Happy 2026. Hope everybody had a nice, relaxing New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Hopefully, y'all didn't get too hammered. I definitely didn't get to do much of anything yesterday, not by choice, though. It's because both of my kids, unfortunately, have the flu, but such is life. That's being a parent. Really appreciate everybody hanging out with me last year, listening to me babble. 2025 was definitely a really interesting year. And I think 2026 is shaping up to be an even more interesting year, mostly because the bill is coming due on a couple of things that Republicans really do not want to contend with. The first of which being that they have to release an explanation for their redaction of the Epstein files on January 3rd, which is tomorrow. I'll just say right out of the gate, I do not expect them to comply with this. Why would they? I mean, they've literally not complied with the law at all. They've been hiding the Epstein files all year. When they were finally forced to release them, they released part of them, so they didn't comply with the spirit of the law or the letter of the law, and they were heavily redacted. And so, and they just found like millions more that they have to sort through. So, I don't expect that to happen, but the other thing that I actually want to talk about right now is the healthcare crisis, because the Republicans decided that they did not want to extend ACA premiums. That was part of the government shutdown, and they still don't have a plan. So we're going to talk about it. You guys are going to do me a huge favor. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell, do all that jazz, and let's get it. All right. So the ACA, Obamacare, was passed, obviously, by Barack Obama. Now, I just want to let everybody know out of the gate, this was a Republican healthcare plan. It was thought up by the ACA or by the Heritage Foundation. It was implemented by Mitt Romney, and then it was passed into law on a national level by Barack Obama. And the reason that the Republicans have spent the last 15 years trying to destroy it is because a black guy passed it. I mean, it's literally it. It's their own plan. It's because a black guy passed it, a Democrat passed it. And speaking of black guys, we're going to listen to Byron Donalds, a Republican, talk about how they have no clue what they're going to do to replace it. Here he is.
We are having all of these growing investigations of Medicaid fraud at the same time that Democrats are saying we need another, $200 billion to once again subsidize the failing Obamacare. Do the Republicans have a specific solution to this problem?
We don't have one yet, but we're going to get one very soon. This is something where members last week in our conference meeting, we were imploring the leadership to make sure that there is one cohesive plan that we can all get behind. I mean, I think it's centered around health savings accounts where people actually get getting the money directly like President Trump talked about, but there are more reforms that are needed. The regulatory framework of Obamacare has to change. That's what's driving premium prices through the roof. That's what's driving deductibles through the roof. That's what's causing the American people to have a health insurance system that is completely unaffordable. So those regulations must change. And I would argue it's something that where Democrats need to come and work with us to make sure that we have affordable health insurance that the American people can buy while also taking care of the other things in their lives. The current Democrat plan of Obamacare is unaffordable. Everybody knows this. No amount of subsidies will hide the true cost.
So guys, keep in mind, ever since Trump got in office and he said he was going to repeal and replace Obamacare, and that he would have a new healthcare plan and it would be like 2 weeks. That was 10 years ago. They still don't have a plan. Their plan is repeal and fuck off, right? It's like they complain about how bad it is as they still don't have any idea what they're going to do to fix it. And in fact, all the Republicans have done ever since it was passed is try to destroy Obamacare. So I want to just start with this because I'm so tired of this bullshit pervasive talking point that like the ACA is too expensive and it doesn't work and all this other garbage, right? So keep this in your back pocket for the next time somebody complains about, especially a Republican, complains about healthcare costs. So here you go. How the GOP actions drove up ACA premiums. 2011 to 2016, over 50 GOP repeal votes. The result, insurers added 2 to 4% in an uncertainty load. In 2014, the GOP-led states refused Medicaid expansion. The result, 7 to 15% higher premiums on non-expansion states. In 2017, Trump ended cost-sharing payments. The result, Silver Plan premiums exploded 20 to 30% nationwide. In 2017, again, the tax bill that he passed repealed the individual mandate. The result, premiums increased another 10% in 2019. In 2018, Trump expanded junk short-term plans. Result, premiums increased another 6 to 10%. In 2020, GOP-backed Texas versus California lawsuit threatened to nuke the ACA. The result, insurers padded rates with an additional 2 to 4% legal risk. Whatever that means. 2023, House GOP budget proposed ACA repeal again. The result, insurers added another 1 to 3% in uncertainty load. In 2024, the GOP blocked renewals of enhanced subsidies. Result, when extra aid expired, premiums rose 6%. And in 2025, Trump's one big beautiful bill cut the ACA and Medicaid. The result, over 7% increase in premiums. 10 to 15 million people will lose their coverage. And also, I should add that, with this, they did a $800 billion cut to Medicaid. And this list doesn't include the fact that the GOP-led shutdown is resulting in the fact that they're not going to extend ACA premium subsidies. And a lot more people are going to be pretty much kicked off of their insurance because they're not going to be able to afford their insurance. So keep that in mind. Do a little screenshot, keep that in mind for the next time somebody complains, because this is what the Republican chairman of the Ways and Means Committee said. So this is Jason Smith. He's a Republican from Missouri, and he said, Democrats have failed to deliver on their promise to make healthcare affordable. Premiums have gone up 80%, and 150 rural hospitals have shut down since Democrats enacted Obamacare. It's disappointing, but not surprising, that every single Democrat rejected an opportunity to lower costs for working families in favor of writing another blank check to health insurers to prop up a system that the GAO has confirmed is riddled with fraud. The Lower Health Care Premiums for All Americans Act gives access to choice arrangements that lower healthcare costs, expands coverage options for small businesses and workers, and lowers premiums and drug costs for Americans on employer-sponsored insurance. Unlike Democrats that want to funnel more taxpayer dollars to big insurance companies and double down on a failed system, Republicans are acting to actually lower health costs for working families. So as I just explained, the reason that premiums have gone up 80% is exactly because of that list, and it's all because of Republicans. It is completely because of Republicans trying to cut the ACA to ribbons. So it's all because of Republicans. Okay. And then the other thing that's really funny is this. The GAO has confirmed that it's riddled with fraud. I got a great idea for how you can get rid of fraud in the system. Just make it a universal system. There you go. Everybody gets health insurance. That way there is no fraud. Everybody has the same insurance. And will they do that? Of course not. Fuck no. The Republicans don't want to give people a universal healthcare system. They don't want to. But they're going to complain about how bad Obamacare is, and this is the really rich part that I just cannot get over. This part here, unlike Democrats that want to funnel more taxpayer dollars to big insurance companies and double down on a failed system, Republicans are acting to actually lower healthcare costs for working families. The whole plan is, as far as we know so far, is to give people money in the form of money going into HSA accounts. But what would that be doing? That would be the government giving people money, subsidies, which they just cut, to pay for their own private insurance. So the government would still be funneling money to private insurance. Do you see how these people don't even think through the absurdity of what they're fucking arguing? It's so stupid. It's so ridiculous. And so obviously, the answer is to do a universal system, Medicare for all. Not only would it give everybody healthcare coverage, but it would also be cheaper. And the Republicans would know that because their own, the Cato Institute, which is a right-wing think tank, one of their own think tanks actually found that Medicare for All, a universal system, would net save trillions of dollars. But that fact is inconvenient, and they don't want to deal with that. So they're not going to do anything to make it better. Make no mistake, whatever the Republicans come up with is not going to make things cheaper. It's still going to make things more expensive. So the bullshit talking point that everybody loves to trot out whenever you talk about a universal healthcare system is, well, how are you going to pay for it? You got to raise taxes on everybody. How are you going to pay for it? Get this straight. We already pay for health insurance, and they don't call it a tax. They call it a premium. Plus, we also pay for like co-pays and deductibles and all of this stuff, right? So we already pay for it. They just don't call it a tax. And so all this would do is literally take the money that you're already paying for private health insurance and just put it towards a system where everybody gets insured. Anyway, like I said, we're not going to get this with Republicans, and unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get this with Democrats as the current leadership stands, because Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, all of these like establishment Democrats take massive amounts of money from pharmaceutical companies and insurance companies, and they're not going to do anything to fix the healthcare system anytime soon. We've got to put somebody in there that actually wants to help people and doesn't want to take money from large insurance companies and donors. Anyway, that's all I got for you right now. Can't wait to see what the Republicans actually come up with, because it's sure to be a laugh. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.